Welcome to Cliftonland's Global Cooking Challenge. Welcome. Tonight is night 1 of country number 171 of our 193 nation challenge, as we work our way learning to cook by cooking a different dish or different country from one country a week, working our way around the world. This is country and week number 171 of 193. Tonight we are cooking the food of Tanzania in East Africa, just south of the equator. That's Tanzania right there. Surrounded by a number of different countries, including Kenya and Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo and Burundi and Malawi, and I believe that's Mozambique. It is a rather large country with 3 Great Lakes surrounding it on 3 sides. We have Dar es Salaam is the traditional capital, and Dodoma is sort of like the new capital. And it has 3 islands that are part of it, which are, one of them, Zanzibar, is semi-autonomous. So that's located right about there. Hello, Kyle, thank you for the like and the restream. Justin first, yes, hey there, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Tonight we're making a Kamba with Ugali, which is, yes, comment, which is a shrimp in coconut sauce, and Ugali is sort of like a polenta, I'd say. It's sort of a national dish of, pretty much large swaths of Africa. We tried to do it, sort of version of it, cooking Kenya way before Meerkat. Tron, thank you for the like there. So let's round here and get going. This, unlike last week, around this time, is going to be a rather quick dish. How in the world do you find all these ingredients for these dishes? Well, I've had 4 years of practice for one thing. African stuff tends to be, among the trickiest for me. Like they're against their will, talk to them or warn them or call the officials because, people are being moved around and it's really bad. Time to stop eating them. Yeah, so that's why, especially when it comes to seafood, knowing the sourcing of where that's coming from it helps. It can help. So, locally caught and grown whatever is better than, you'll see like from Indonesia. You'll always see that, especially when it comes to the shrimp. So, nothing against Indonesian people, but there's just the way that at present time that's being practiced, it needs to be addressed. On to happier news. We are getting some onions. This particular Tanzanian recipe, lovely young woman has it on her site. I wish I remembered the URL, but it will be posted on the blog on cliftonland.com on Wednesday, along with everything else. I'm just going to say that's going to be half a cup of chopped onions. She was kind of specific in what the amounts were in her recipe that we're looking at here, and again, links will be posted on the blog at cliftonland.com. But I'll tell you, if you look at the little video that's attached to a recipe, and she's saying, oh, this is a teaspoon, that's a cup of something, and it looked like it's way more than that. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a perspective issue. I don't know. Theoretically, we're listening to music of the farmer composers of Tanzania. In Thailand, they kidnap men from Myanmar and send them to work on boats. Yes, that's the deal. That's that specific deal, too. And there's, people, Indian, even here in the U.S., just in the past month, we had, in the sex trade, in fact, there was someone who was a victim himself from Hungary, who was promised a job in the U.S. and came and then was, in forced prostitution, and then after he got older, he started recruiting other people in. So they, kind of rescued a whole bunch of these Hungarian young men who were in Fort Lauderdale against their will. It's happening everywhere under your noses, from nail salons to, fields to everywhere. So it's something there needs to be much more awareness of. that it could be happening in your, handy suburban American neighborhood and you wouldn't know it. Toby, thank you for the like. What are you making tonight? Tonight I am making two things. I'm making a Kamba wanazi, which is shrimp in coconut sauce, and which is a very quick dish. And we're also serving that with ugali, which is sort of a standard dish throughout large parts of Africa with different names in different parts of Africa. Here in Tanzania and in Kenya, it's called ugali. It can be made with any number of starches, from cornmeal to, I think we tried it with cassava. We tried it with cassava flour for Sao Tome and Principe, and that was one of our epic disasters because I screwed it up badly, and it went right from the stove into the trash. That's the only thing that ever did. I tried it for Kenya with a different flour. It was sort of okay, but tasteless. The way it's supposed to be, though, it's supposed to be like a polenta. It's supposed to be like the consistency of a Play-Doh, and it's supposed to sit, in a mound in the middle of the communal table or on your plate, and you grab a piece of it and make like a spoon out of it, and then you eat your sauces and your vegetables or whatever with it, with your hands. But it's kind of as close you get to a national dish in Tanzania. Hey Lydia, how are you doing? Good seeing you. Yes, we are making our Kamba wanazi, our shrimp in coconut paste, and later I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to be doing both things at the same time, the ugali and this, because both these things are rather quick cooks, so I don't want one thing to get overcooked, so hopefully I'll be able to time this right, because I'm going to have two things going simultaneously at some point. So I am going to declare that this one onion is going to be, as much onion as I need. She said half a cup, but I don't believe her. Like I said, she showed pictures of, oh, this is a teaspoon. I'm thinking, that looks like 2 tablespoons or more of whatever. So, but we'll figure it out. This is from a Tanzanian native dish. Also, if you're wondering about what we're doing this week, we are doing Tanzania. Again, number 171 of 193 UN member states. Leaving us, I think, only 3 or 4 more African countries out of 54 African countries, the continent with the most countries. Derek says, here's a crazy thing, Scottish prawns are frozen on catching and then sent to Thailand for processing, shipped back to Scotland. That's nuts. That is cuckoo nuts. With the lamb that we have here, that I've been cooking the last few weeks, all comes from New Zealand. So go figure. But that's where the sheep are. They're where you are and they're in New Zealand. On opposite parts of the globe. I'm getting that eye thing with the onions, which normally doesn't happen. I think you people are cursing me. I used to not have the slightest issue with that. Anywho, the dishes. So we're doing the totally nuts. Yes, the Tanzania as the mainland was Tanganyika for a long time, and then so here's how it went. You have the Bantu migration, which Google it. There's a Wikipedia article about how the people that kind of evolved throughout the tens of thousands of years that throughout Africa. Eventually, the Bantu speaking people moved south and sort of replaced them for the most part. Now, Bree, thank you for the follow and the like. Cannot wait to see what you make for UK. Yeah. That's been a subject of discussion already. May. I think that's the second week of May that the UK is coming up, so look for that then. We'll be doing one night of England, one night of Scotland, and one night of Combo of Northern Ireland and Wales, and I apologize to the people of Northern Ireland and Wales to have to double up there. Anyway, so the Bantu migration, you have these Bantu-speaking people, and it's to date, they're in Tanzania, there are 99% of the population are African, Bantu speaking, but there are 120 different tribes all speaking their various indigenous languages. Enjoy watching you chop. Oh, thank you, Nowbreed. So 120 different local languages, all kind of versions of Swahili. Swahili is sort of like a Bantu language. There's Kaswahili, which is more common on Zanzibar, but we'll get into Zanzibar in a moment after I wash my cutting board. Alright, moment for hygiene. Okay, so what you got is, so you have the African population, then Vasco da Gama, Portuguese explorer, lands, and they give him, the locals give him a name which translates to the devil. Was not a nice guy. Jellied eggs, haggis, Ulster by a leek pie. No, we'll see about that. But I'm going to be counting on you for like the world's, the right recipes for that. But we'll get to that later. Okay, so we have our onions here. We're going to get our garlic together. She said about 1 teaspoon of garlic. But again, I didn't really believe what she was doing was 1 teaspoon. But we will figure that out in a moment. Anyway, so Vasco da Gama, Portuguese explorer, shows up and starts, a few hundred years of drama that does not go over well with the local population. For a couple hundred years, and then the Portuguese leave and kind of leave no trace, which is weird. And I'm going to say that's 2 cloves of garlic should do it. But then, afterwards, the British and Germans started fighting it out for who got to control the land. And it took a long time for them to kind of figure, okay, British, fine. However, off the coast of what is now Tanzania, you have 3 islands that are now part of Tanzania. One is called Mafia, oddly enough, for Northern Ireland has to be full Ulster fry. I'm going to be counting on you people. Direct message me, and I mean direct message me on Twitter so I can remember I have it there. A specific recipe for something if you have it for your upcoming countries. Be it UK or anything, past Thailand. Hector, thank you so much for the like. I so appreciate seeing you here every time. Anyway, Zanzibar. So meanwhile, Zanzibar off the coast, thing about Zanzibar, the birthplace of Queen lead singer Freddie Mercury. His parents were diplomats. Anyway, pretty full English white pudding and potato scone. Oh boy. Zanzibar off the coast. Becomes part not of Britain, at least not originally, but part of the Omani Sultanate. So Oman, on the Arabian Peninsula, we cooked that. I believe that was our our one and only week we did on Periscope before we started on Meerkat, like almost a year ago. But Oman. So the Omani Sultanate came to control Zanzibar. So as a result, there are 2 very different parts of the same country. Zanzibar has a great deal of autonomy, and that was kind of the deal. In fact, if you look at the flag, which is right over my head, right there you'll see it's got green on one side and blue on the other, and a black stripe in the middle and gold along the sides. The green is because there's green in both the flags of Tanganyika, which is sort of like the mainland, and Zanzibar, the island off the coast, and then there's Mafia and that other island, I forgot the name of, starts with a P. So, they agreed to form a union because one became independent of British trusteeship in 1961, and the other one in 1963 and 1964 they joined together. Elisha, I hope I got that name right. Eshla, thank you for the follow. So they decided to join together in 1964 under a whole agreement that, Zanzibar would have autonomy. But because of the history of it all, the population in Tanganyika, the mainland part of Thailand, Tanzania, is roughly, cutting board is slightly blurred. Like, oh, because of this. Yeah, I'll fix that in a minute. Thank you for pointing it out. I need to move the lens. That's some weird music. Anyway, the Tanganyika is about 33% Christian, about 35% Muslim, and then the rest are indigenous religions and such, and other. However, on Zanzibar, it's 95 to 99% Muslim. So there's a big difference. The population in Zanzibar is like either sort of Bantu people or Arab people or people who are a mix of both. I need a glass of wine while you prep. Oh, okay. Well, welcome to that. Okay. So there are two kind of different countries in the same country, which means that we're doing night 3 on Tuesday. Hold on. Wait till I get back. So night 3 on Tuesday is going to be Zanzibar. We picked a dish to do for Zanzibar. Actually, 2. So it's a little more different. In fact, it's a lot more Indian on Zanzibar. So you're going to get like samosas and biryanis and pilaf, like a plav like we did just last week for Tajikistan. So, that's the Arab-Indian influence from across the Indian Ocean there, which you get slightly less of on the mainland. Ginger. We're getting ginger now. Ginger. I just bought me some ginger, so I want to see if the stuff I have is still any good. Ah! Hold on. Gotta find my ginger. Okay, let's see if this is any good. Oh yes, I was gonna fix this, wasn't I? Okay, I hope this lens won't fall off. Yep, too far the other direction. Go see the one where Adam ruins nutrition, and it'll blow your mind. And there's sources, everything's linked to what it is that he's talking about, and you can see for yourself. How, I always heard that blah 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 was true, and it turned out that that wasn't true. Well, that sucks. A lot of that. I mean, some of the stuff I already knew, but it's just weird. But yeah, like orange juice, orange juice that you get, even the stuff that's like, is mostly sugar. And the addition, the stuff they add to it, they can say it's natural flavor because the artificial flavor they add to it originated, came out of oranges originally, so they can just label it as orange flavor. So it's just weird. Danny, how you doing? Now, Bree and Danny, thank you for the restream. So we are chopping up our sweet peppers, our mixed sweet peppers here. I'm chopping them small, probably smaller than I need to. But these are all going to be in the sauce at the end. And this is a rather quick cook, so I'm not terribly stressed out right now. For once. But we're doing 3 nights of food of Tanzania. There are a number of dishes that are sort of the national thing that you'll find. The Ugali, which we're going to be working on a little bit later, which is basically sort of like a polenta. And we're going to be using, I am going to pronounce it wrong. Glad to hear you're doing well, Danny. I always pronounce it wrong. Semolina flour. Which is the first time we're going to try it with that. We have semolina flour from when I tried to make pasta some months ago. So, it gives me a chance to use that. When the Europeans landed in Tanzania, they discovered a number of produce items that were being used by the local population. And then they introduced other items to the local population, which became incorporated into the cuisine. So, groundnuts, peanuts, which are very common throughout all of African cooking, I gather did not come from this area originally. So, in the process of exploration, colonization, I guess the peanuts kind of worked their way around to the other side of the continent there. And cassava. In fact, one of the dishes we're making, one of the dishes we're making on Tuesday is greens with peanut sauce, a very, very peanut butter sauce, a very, very, you know, typical. You could find this pretty much anywhere in Africa. You'll find the type of green one uses would vary a good deal. But here, you're just going to find, you know, spinach, you'll find kale, you'll find chard, you'll find collard greens, and whereas they're likely going to be using cassava leaves, which you can't find. I can't find. And if you tell me where I can find cassava leaves, I will go get them. I am eager to try cassava leaves. But I think even at that global market in West Palm Beach, I have not been able to find them. I found taro leaves, which I was very excited to find, and then after I found them, I posted the picture of them on Facebook and on Snapchat. And then right after, I posted a picture, so excited that I found the taro leaves, an acquaintance, I mean, like a weird acquaintance, just said, "Oh, those are in my backyard." I'm like, fine, where have you been the last 3 years? I've been looking for these things. I didn't realize they're used for landscaping. And you know what, as I'm talking, I wonder if those aren't the exact same thing. In fact, I think they are. Now that I think about it. Cassava leaves, taro leaves, I think they're the same thing. But taro leaves are like big. They're like that big. And you know, you find them in landscaping. They look like heart-shaped. But they're a lot meatier and tougher than spinach. Okay, we have only one more thing to chop. Yay! And I cleaned these earlier today, so don't make funny faces at me. The cilantro. Cilantro. Okay. Good to hear, Dan. Danny, where are you anyway? I have no idea. I never found out. I'm just curious that way. I like to have a vague idea where people are. I have been woefully behind in making my plans for phase 2 of this challenge, and Zimbabwe is coming up quick, which is going to be the end of July. Last week of July is the last week of at least phase 1 of this challenge, so I'm gotta prep for phase 2. Like I said, I am thinking of doing a non-UN member state countries / territories, which is controversial because, you know, by definition, you're in the Netherlands. Where in the Netherlands are you? I have, who do I have? Oh shoot, I don't remember the town she lives in. I don't remember the town. I have a dear friend who I befriended on Facebook years ago, and we're quite close. But I forget the name of the town she lives in. She lives about, I'm gonna say about 2 hours southeast of Amsterdam. An hour and a half, 2 hours southeast. I've seen it on a map. Me, I've been to Amsterdam, and I went to Madurodam, and then worked my way from Belgium, and then to Amsterdam, and then back out to Germany. So it was very, very quick, and a long, long time ago. Long time ago, because I'm very old. Okay. So, we are chopping up our cilantro. No. I want to use my mezzaluna. I bought it for this very reason. Does anybody watch Downton Abbey? Rotterdam. Ah, Rotterdam is beautiful. Good to know. We'll see when I go to Amsterdam eventually. If you watched Downton Abbey last week, there was Daisy working away on her mezzaluna. Chopping herbs with her mezzaluna. But hers did not have the fancy, had the traditional handles. The woman in the video, her cilantro was not, you know, chopped as finely as I tend to expect mine to be. In fact, I think it was just dressed at the end with just some raw cilantro, just picked leaves. You know, I have pictures of myself at Madura Dam. Madura Dam is sort of like Tiny Town, where they built replicas of all the major cities in Europe, as I recall. And you can stand there like, oh, there's the Tower of London, you know, stand up with it, and it's all to scale. They've done that with Legos here at Legoland. I know Legoland originated in Denmark. Denmark, I believe. But now there's one here in Florida. It's kind of lame. But the Tiny Town is pretty cool. I love that. There they did cut around the world and around the state of Florida too. Okie dokie. So we're gonna sweep this up. But to this day, British people are still called limeys. Yes, in Australia, because the need for sailors to have the daily lime juice and scurvy, as you said earlier. Yes, it is now. Oh goodness. Yeah. Yes, you're up late. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it so much, Danny. Yes, Denmark. Yes. In fact, I was surprised when they built Legoland here, because I know they had one in California, and it just struck me like, oh, well, you know, it's just another one. You know, I actually had been to Disney, Disneyland Paris. I'm kind of embarrassed to say that I've been to Disneyland Paris. I did not go to Paris to go to Disneyland. I just wound up that we were in Paris, and we said, well, since we're here, and we like Disney. It wasn't something I would go out of my way to do. In fact, I was kind of, once I actually set foot in there, I was kind of embarrassed. Yes, okay, I think we're done with the chopping portion of our evening here. But yeah, that was crazy, and it was weird seeing the idea of a theme park where some places you had to get different lines to hear the show in your language or choice of languages. So like there was the one with the Spanish line that you'd have, or the English, or you know, one with French and one with German, and then the one with Dutch was like the small. There was only like one extra little one for the Dutch, and the Dutch had to double up with somebody else too. It was the little the studio lot tour, so they had different celebrities from the different places and giving you the tour depending which line you got in. Okay, so now we get to putting our spices together. So we're gonna get just a few. Now, like I said, there's turmeric, which is quite popular. I love turmeric. It gives everything a lovely color and a great aroma. It was curious. I've never heard it compared to anything. And the woman who with this recipe, she was saying how you know, Western people don't like it. And I love it. I mean, smell. It's just like the, I know when you think of a house with, you know, Indian flavors or the smells that you hear coming out of that, that people would say, you know, in positive or negative terms, that's kind of the smell that you're smelling, the turmeric. But she was saying it's a little like saffron. And I'm like, really? I mean, I know they both give things a color, but I never thought of thinking the flavors were in any way alike, but I really hadn't given it much thought. So turmeric right there. I hope I'm using enough, because what she was showing and what she was saying the amounts seem very, very different. So we're going black pepper. Of course, there's going to be more black pepper later, and there's salt and pepper on the shrimp also already. Half a teaspoon of black pepper. And there's the husband. Yay! He's home. And we're going to set out a tablespoon of tomato paste. Tomato paste. You say tomato, and I say tomato. You say potato, and I say potato. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Let's call the whole thing. No, I think it's supposed to be potato and tomato. Oh, okay. You say tomato when I say tomato. You say potato when I say potato. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Hello, sweetie. Tomato. Well, it has been brilliant midnight here in the Old Bank House, Kyle, Scotland. We'll tune in next time. Thank you so much for coming by. And you can catch everything on the blog at cliftyland.com or on YouTube in the morning, if there's anything you feel that you'd like to see, like how it all came out. I know I wouldn't be sitting around for an hour, because I have a short attention span. Okay, so we're getting a tablespoon of, the TV show, Derek probably familiar with the Catastrophe. It's here it's on Amazon, but there it was on BBC, I'm assuming. But the scenes that were filmed, supposed to be set in Paris, were actually filmed in Edinburgh.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so Edinburgh was a stand-in for Paris. Mm-hmm. I did not know that.
Edinburgh?
Edinburgh. Yes. See, I have my mind running to, like, anytime I think of anything Scottish, I have to, like, you know, stick it back in my head to, like, remember to mention it.
See, there is an Edinburgh, but that's outside of my hometown of Erie, Pennsylvania.
Ah, there you go.
Edinburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yes, does that just end in an O?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, now coconut cream. Here is the very important factor in this. We're using coconut cream, not coconut milk. If you take a coconut and you cut it open, which is an effort all by itself, and I choose not to take that effort again, because I tried before and it was more trouble than it was worth. You have the coconut meat, the white stuff, and then you have the coconut milk, the liquid stuff in the middle. If you go on a cruise or whatever, they'll like slice it open, stick a straw in it, and you'll drink the milk, the liquid. In a can, what you'll get is they'll take the meat and the water and put, coconut water is what you'll drink, but they'll mix it together and make coconut milk. But the heavy part, the more fatty part, is the coconut cream, and here we want the more fatty part, so that's the coconut cream. And very specifically saying, get the heavy stuff, don't use the light stuff, because the fat is what gives it its flavor. And on account of that, I need to save the extra, which is what I'm doing right now before I forget. Okay, here we go. Okay. Edinburgh. Faith and Bagura. Okay, can opener. I put the can opener back. It's 7 o'clock. Almost. Okay. So we're going for a cup of coconut cream, which I need to put in a bowl. And, however, I need to remind myself that when the time comes to add the coconut cream to the dish, to the saucepan, to not add the whole cup of coconut cream all at once. I'm saying this out loud so I remember to do it when the time comes. Okay. So, here, oh yay, my goodness. I never had quite an issue, so much an issue with opening cans that I have with cans of coconut. So, here goes. We're gonna try to get a cup of this. This is gonna be heavy. And indeed it is. Indeed it is. Okay, so here we go. See, it's like, look at that consistency. It's very thick. It's not at all liquid. So that's what the deal is with this. Okay, so that's kind of what we have there. It's like the consistency of sour cream, as opposed to the consistency of sour cream and water. However, this means that I need to save the rest of this in my container here, because I don't want it to go to waste. Oh my god, I had a fun. Okay. Ah, there's the liquid. There's all at the bottom. It's like the opposite. Usually when you get coconut milk, there's just a little liquid and a whole, I mean, a little thick and a whole lot of liquid, and this is the other way around. I really should have shaken this up before, but I always forget that, which is a me problem. But again, we want the heavy stuff, so whatever. Okay. Coconut, there's so many different things you can do with coconut, so many different ways to use coconut, that I'm kind of embarrassed that I always would stay away from coconut before. Hello, Diana. Thank you for the restream. One moment, please. Keep your hands and legs inside the vehicle. Do not leave the stream until the until the stream has come to a complete stop. Okay. And please take small children by the hand. Okay, abracadabra. It is 7 o'clock, and I am about ready to start the actual cooking part. Having watched of your shows, I've never seen you open a can. You've opened 2 today. Well, then I've opened a couple cans before, but I try to avoid cans when I can. Can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Okay, I'm gonna take out 2 bowls or several bowls. I don't have enough bowls. Fooey. Additional fooey, I need to clean this out. Kamba. Because I need this. I'm going to start the 1-item prep, or the 2-ingredient prep for the ugali. Ugali has exactly 2 ingredients. One is flour, one is water. That's all. Again, we're using seminola flour. Again, I said that wrong. Semolina flour. I live in Florida where there's the Seminole Indians, which is why I'm mispronouncing the flour. That's my excuse. So what I need is 2 bowls. Well, I'm going to use a big bowl and a small bowl. Half a cup of flour in one, and half a cup of flour in the other. A quarter, half, okay. And this is sort of the same steps that I did in that epic crash and burn of trying to do the Sao Tome version of it with cassava flour. Oh, that's another thing. The colonizers brought cassava to the people of East Africa, which I believe came from West Africa. Okay, so we're going half a cup of flour, the flour here. You know what? I can put that in a ramekin instead of a bowl. So I have to use the big old bowl for that. And I'm going to try, while I cook 2 things at one time, to be very, very careful in doing this. I'm going to try to be very, very careful. Because I don't want another disaster on my hands. When I was cooking the thing for Sao Tome and Principe, and that was, oddly enough, the stream where more people watched than any other of my streams ever, because it was such an epic disaster. People must have been telling their friends, "Oh my God, you have to watch this! Crash and burn on L4." The only dish that ever went right from the stove to the garbage. But that was cassava flour, but it was supposed to be cassava flour is more like cassava starch. So one, I think that was more fine than a flour, number one. I mean, finer than this. And number two, I think I kind of screwed up with the way I got the hot water going. So we're going to hopefully get this right this time. So this is all going to go over here. I'm going to need to prep my tea kettle. I'm going to get a cup and a half of water to boil in here. One moment, please. Yeah, there are a lot of recipes that say, oh, a can of tomatoes or whatever, and I'm thinking, well, you know, I live in Florida where you can get, like, tomatoes off the vine year-round. I know it just takes more time, and I think usually I'm okay with that. So I'm getting half a cup of water ready. Actually, it should be cold water. Half a cup of cold water ready. I'm gonna move you over this way in just a moment. I'm gonna stick you in the pan. How do you like that? How do you like them apples? Yeah. Okay. And release. Okay, so I'm gonna need a saucepan, and I'm gonna move you over this way. Have it this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Walk this way. And once more, I want to use that saucepan, and once more, I can't, because I ruined it. Bye, Cliff. See you next time. Thank you, Danny. Sleep well. Thanks for coming by. I'm going to use a skillet. I'm going to use the damn skillet, because I don't think I need the whole damn saucepan for this. And I'm going to need a pot, though, for the ugali. And I need a lid for that sucker right there. Are you the lid? Yes. You're the lid that I want. Ooh, 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 honey. Okay. You're welcome. Alrighty, so let us heat up this here, and I gotta get my camera and my pen and all my accoutrements over this way. Okay, and so heating this up, and it's going to be using canola oil in this case. She kind of went into an explanation as to which oil to use and why, and I mean, I would think to use peanut oil. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. But to canola oil, it's not going to give, you know, alter the flavor too much of this. Go and get this nice and hot on medium heat. And what medium heat means on this stove is anyone's guess. I think I've come to get a general understanding of what it might mean on my own stove and the non-stick cookware here. I did not realize before that the non-stick was such a thing. Oh, by the way, coconut milk is going to be a big play in the other 2 nights. Hence, we got lots of coconut milk ready to go for next time. But right now it's the coconut cream that we're going to be working with. So once this heats up, we're going to go in on that and rather quickly. So let me just line up my stuff while that heats up. So I'm going to need my onions, garlic, and ginger. So onions, garlic and ginger. So far, nothing is a great big surprise. Everything in the world tends to start that way. At least the onions part. Sometimes the garlic, sometimes the ginger. But always the onions. Forever with the onions. As I said before, I think in 171 countries, I think there have been 4 that did not, involve fry an onion. Chop an onion, fry it. I did not realize until like somewhat recently, it's like, oh, because that gives a sugar base to everything. That gives, savory sweetness to every dish. Condensation. Alrighty. And here we're getting our spatula. Okay. So we're going to add our onions to the pot and cook those until they're softened. Not until they're browned, not until they're caramelized, but until they're softened. The goal, according to the recipe author, is to just let them soften and then cook the garlic with it and have those cook at the same time. So, Mr. Cliff, follow the instructions. Medium seems, this medium seems a little low. Okay. So, so once they're softened, then we'll get the garlic and the ginger, and then I might as well line up the other things. Who do we have here? Kenny. Hey, Kenny, how you doing? Thank you for the like and the restream. We are doing the Kamba wanazi, the shrimp in coconut sauce from Tanzania. This is from the mainland of Tanzania, formerly known as Tanganyika. In fact, when I was telling my dad I was cooking Tanzania, he was like, I have no idea where that is. And I said, if I said Tanganyika, he would have had a clue. Oh, by the way, okay, without looking it up, anyone know like what Tanzania is most famous for? Or do you have to cheat? I'll show you. One more time. Since we're in the second hour. Okay, so we got our globe. Globe right here. So that's Africa, right? And, don't fall on the onions. Okay. Africa. Equator. That right there is Tanzania. And off the coast you got Zanzibar and Mafia, and I forgot the name of the other island. Starts with a P. But you have Lake Victoria and Lake Malawi, which Lake Malawi is down here, but they call it Lake Nyama. Malawi claims like the entire lake up until the beaches on Tanzania, and Tanzania is saying no, the border is halfway in the middle of the lake. And then there's Lake Tanganyika, which is over here on the west. So that, my friends, is where Tanzania is. But it's most famous for, I'll give you a hint. Your hint is Ernest Hemingway. We're adding the garlic now that they softened a little bit. And the garlic and ginger. So garlic, boom, and ginger, boom. So, anyone? It is famous for, in the northwest of Tanzania, you will find Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest peak in Africa. And one of 2 places in Africa where you will find glaciers. Or at least for the next 10 minutes you'll find glaciers, because global warming is doing a job on those. So enjoy them while you can. Now here, we're going to be cooking the onions and garlic and ginger until the garlic turns brown, starts to turn brown. So that's the idea. Yes, but Mount Kilimanjaro, what we got, Lake Victoria is the second largest lake in all of Africa. Am I right on that? I think I'm right on that. I gotta look at my globe again. And it's got like 2 second tallest, second biggest, second whatever, like records. which is weird that Tanzania would be known for two separate second most blank. But, you know, things work that way. So we're letting these soften, and while that happens, I think it might be time to start in on my ugali. So while this starts to turn brown here, I am going to, in my pot right here, I'm going to mix together my half a cup of semolina. Am I right on that one? Semolina flour and cold water. There's not heat on this. What is it known for? What is what known for? Tanzania or the island? Mount Kilimanjaro is the snows of the Kilimanjaro. Book by Ernest Hemingway. It's where you can see snow on the equator. It's like the highest mountain in all of Africa. Very, very beautiful. So I have not turned the heat up on this yet. I'm just trying to let you see both of these. Okay, I have not even turned the heat up on this one yet. I'm just whisking it to mix them together first. This is to make our ugali. And our garlic over here is starting to turn brown a little bit. Okay, so while that sits there not cooking, I'm gonna boil the water in the tea kettle behind you, because here our garlic is starting to turn brown, which it's supposed to be doing at this point. Oh, and I'm going to take the shrimp out of the refrigerator now that they've been sitting in there for an hour. We had earlier put them in the refrigerator after we coated them with salt and pepper. So that's going to whistle in a moment. Snows of the... Oh, I'm smelling all the garlic now, and the ginger. Mmm, that ginger smells good. Okay. So I'm doing two things simultaneously. The ugali, which is sort of like a polenta, and the shrimp and coconut sauce, the Kamba wanazi. And this stuff over here is going to happen very, very fast. So, stuff is going to happen at very fast speeds. So, it's a high likelihood I am going to forget to take a picture of something. Could you imagine going to Africa and like on the equator and seeing glaciers? I mean, isn't that, you know, amazing and tragic that pretty soon you're not going to be able to? But Tanzania, their capital was Dar es Salaam, but they said to move everything to Dodoma, and they like moved the legislative capital. They still, you get a lot of executive stuff in Dar es Salaam. There was a lot of tourism. There is a lot of tourism because you can see a lot of the big five animals in the national parks. It's a great place to see that, and they get a good amount of their income from gold mining and tourism. Although they're a very, very poor country. But things are, you know, starting to build, which is nice. And I'm gonna need a wooden spoon here. But there are several countries that have decided. I don't know if Dodoma is a planned city or not, but I know, like in Equatorial Guinea, that they said we're gonna build a capital in the middle of the jungle. We're gonna build a whole new city like SimCity, and just, you know, and everyone's gonna move there. We're gonna build a big, giant, modern, empty city, and then people will come afterwards. So like they did Brasilia in Brazil, and then Myanmar. That one didn't work out. Hasn't worked out quite so well. So boiling water. Here we go. Go. Whisking boiling water, and I'm sorry if the camera angle is bad here. No, I have not turned on the stove yet. Under this. Okay. So I'm gonna have that on low heat. Meanwhile, over here, it is time. The time has come to, where's my camera? To add in the, drumroll please, the black pepper. Black pepper, boom. The turmeric, and mix that up and let that go for about 30 seconds. I'm turning the heat down just a smidge. Now we got a whole other series of smells. I wish smell-o-vision was working here. Meanwhile, behind you, I'm stirring the ugali on the other end here. And now I need to slowly bring that to a boil. And now, okay, 30 seconds has gone by. So now we're gonna add in our tomato paste. I can take the cat over here. Camera. And the turmeric turns things kind of brown, so it's in yellow and brown, so it's kind of tricky to see with the black background what's happening. I want to make sure I get all that tomato paste. In her estimation, the tomato paste should not be browned, which is different than a lot of other people. So we'll let this go for about a minute. Meanwhile, I'm whisking with the other hand, and I'm waiting till that comes to a boil. So I'm cooking with both hands. I have this at a kind of a medium-low now. Trying to be very careful to not have this overcook. As soon as that happens, then we're going to drop in. I'm going to turn the heat up on the ugali a little bit. Again, trying to get these both things to end at the same time is quite an interesting operation. Okay, sweet peppers and tomatoes and coconut cream. Ready to go. Okay, so now about a minute's gone by. I'm going to add in our sweet peppers. And let those cook for about a minute. Hope I'm not missing any comments here. Nope, okay, good. Hey, this is Periscope, but it really feel like I was talking to myself. 1 minute there, and we're waiting for boiling action to happen on the small burner on the other side here. On the ugali, it's supposed to be a consistency like Play-Doh. So, I've never quite gotten it. It's always either been like the gummy mess that I had to throw out for Sao Tome and Principe, or more like a runny thing that I wound up for Kenya, which wasn't so great. You look like you're multitasking impressive. If you read the blog, if you saw, going back to like Albania, how I was freaking out the idea that I was baking a dish and I was making a salad, and how I could possibly do both at the same time, it is quite comical to see the stuff that I do simultaneously now. Okay, now we're adding the tomatoes in, and we're cooking these allegedly until the tomatoes dissolve. I believe that when I see it. It said medium-high until the tomatoes dissolve. I don't think I'm going to be waiting completely till they dissolve. Okay, meanwhile, stirring over here, starting to get some bubbling happening. Keep doing that till it comes to a boil. So you've got tomatoes, tomato paste, sweet peppers, onions, garlic, and ginger in canola oil on this end. It is 7:23. And we have achieved boiling point on the ugali behind. And didn't say anything about salt, which strikes me as odd. Strikes me as exceedingly odd. I may make the executive decision to add salt if I feel it necessary. Okay, it's bubbling and it's gonna start to splatter in a second. So what am I doing? Lower heat and let boil for 5 more minutes. Okay. So lowering the heat and we're letting it boil for 5 more minutes on the ugali. And hopefully it's not gonna splatter in my face, even though it's already splattering on the counter. It's looking like the La Brea tar pits back here. If anyone's ever seen the La Brea tar pits, that's what they imagine that in but tar. So waiting for our tomatoes to dissolve, supposedly, into the dish. The recipe author did not seed her tomatoes. I seeded my tomatoes, just because it seemed like the right thing to do. Water. Bubble, bubble, bubble. Yeah, so I got tomatoes for this. I got tomatoes for another dish. I got grape tomatoes for yet another thing. So we got tomatoes out the wazoo this week. You got on the vine tomatoes, you got Roma tomatoes, you got cherry tomatoes, you got tomato paste. So we're letting that boil for 5 minutes. Do I have to keep whisking? Does not say about keeping whisking. But then we're going to be adding to the ugali more of the flour, 2 tablespoons at a time. Which means I should probably wash off my spoon. Landing point, thank you for the restream. Stay. So they are indeed starting to dissolve, yay. Quite nicely. So now we're going to add the coconut cream, sort of a little bit at a time. Sort of. I just have to figure out what hand I'm using. Okay, here. Coconutty, creamy. Okay, coconut cream. Okay, so we're gonna add like that much of it first. And notice how quickly that just melts right in. We don't want this to be too liquid. That's the kind of the key to this whole thing. And we're going to keep doing that until it boils. Meanwhile, we have another 2 minutes to go on the ugali over here behind you. This cast iron skillet's good for turning the camera around. So we're letting that reduce that down. I'm going to add some more. So I want it saucy, but not too liquid. I need it to be just the right consistency. And we're going to be tasting this in a little bit. Jessica, hello, how are you? Hey, hey, to you too. We are making our Kamba wanazi from Tanzania, which is our shrimp and coconut sauce. It would be prawns and coconut sauce if we were had access to freshwater prawns and they weren't so expensive as they are here. I mean, here the jumbo shrimp is was $22.95 a pound, and I wasn't gonna buy a pound of it and then have to shell and devein it and stuff. So I got the large, you know, peeled, locally sourced, or, you know, Atlantic sourced shrimp fresh from the fishmonger, better than from the grocery store. So, and the ugali is sort of like a polenta. It's the sort of the national dish of Tanzania, also kind of of Kenya as well, which is nearby, across the border. Doobie 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 doo. I found a number of different recipes for different things. There was one thing which it didn't translate, but what it looks like was kind of a fish stew, which I'm fine with, but A, the recipe was completely in Swahili, and I had to run it through the translating, and B, it looked like they took a tilapia and just, without doing anything to it, I mean, I assume they cleaned it, they just kind of went it like this. I mean, not scaled or anything, just like in 3 pieces and stuck it in. And I'm like, that's, would be like a lot of bones for me. I don't think I would really groove on that. Okay, so now that this is come to boil, etc., I'm going to add our shrimp. Hold on. I'm going to let that simmer for a minute more because we have to address this. Our ugali, which is it's like porridge-like now. And now I'm going to start adding, and I have to get my camera ready for this, the more of the flour, 2 tablespoons at a time, whipping that in and not getting it all over the counter like I just did, until it is quite thick and not whiskable anymore. And then I'll have to switch to the wooden spoon. If this is anything like the other versions from other countries that I've done, it's supposed to be so stiff that you can hold that the wooden spoon will stick straight up in it. And that's when you'll know it's done. I mean, it's just flour and water, it's all it is. In this case, semolina. Like I said, I may make the executive decision to break with tradition and salt it if I feel I have to. I know it does not have a lot of flavor, but that's kind of the point. See, it's kind of working. It's supposed to have a consistency like Play-Doh when you're done. But now it's time to go back to you. Time for our shrimp. Shrimp goes in. And now we're gonna add salt. And our cilantro. Boom. Come on out, baby. Okay, and we're just gonna let that cook. Cover it and let it cook for 5 minutes, but I know I need to taste that sauce. But give me a second. Okay. Meanwhile, while that cools off, because I don't want to burn my mouth, I'm going to cover it and let it cook for 5 minutes. So I have that on kind of a low medium here. Meanwhile, we keep stirring on our ugali, which is behind, over here. Am I missing anything? Yes. And cook for 5 more minutes or until it's cooked, basically. Didn't say anything about salt. But I do know it has to be very, very thick. So, I mean, I may have to scoop it out with an ice cream scoop or something. I'm really curious as to what it tastes like, though. Ugali for you. I don't think that's traditional, but I know this is just a backdrop, and traditionally the ugali will be used put in the middle of the table like a bowl, and you'll grab it with your hands and make a spoon with your hands with the stuff, and then use it to scoop up what you're eating. Now we're not doing that because we're not that adhering to tradition in this project when it comes to dining practices. But if you go to Tanzania, that's what you're going to be doing. Yes, we have the traditional instruments of Tanzania happening. Come on, baby. Eep, eep, eep. Han? Oh, shit. Much better with salt. In fact, I could use a little more. Han? Shit. Okay. This is quite thick. I'll give you that. That's what we're going for. That's what we're going for right there. That's when you know it's done. I was gonna add a little more salt. Because it just is way too plain without it. Han? Oh shit. He's not prepared for dinner to be early. Dinner's always late. This time dinner's gonna be early. I can't believe I got everything done at the same time though. Okay, that's officially tasty. And now we have my god, that is ridiculously good. C1 Ashby, thank you for the like and the restream. Chris, thank you very much. I need to, since I can't raise the husband because he's in the other room. On. Oh dear. On. You can't hear me. Don't want this to be overcooked. Of all things, I don't want shrimp to be overcooked. Don't want that to happen. Do not want that to happen. No siree. Overcooked shrimp is not good. One moment. Sweetie. On. Dinner's gonna be early. I said dinner's going to be early, I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry about that, Chief. Okay, so plating is going to start happening. Toot sweet. So prepare yourselves. In case you timed yourself for later, you may miss the final plating. Fish and shrimp wait for no man. This is a stiff porridge indeed. So theoretically there's only 1 more minute left to go on the shrimp. And this ugali is a stiff porridge indeed. Okay, let's get us some plates happening. I'm gonna go with plates. I mean, I've seen this in bowls because there's a certain amount of liquid involved here, but how am I gonna scoop this out? I guess using the spoon. But I want to have a shape. I guess I could use a ramekin. I could use this ramekin. That'll give it a shape. Okay, let's see how our shrimp is. I'm going to take a picture of you. In case I didn't before. Okay. Ooh. So let's taste what that tastes like, shall we? This is the spoon we use. Okay, let's see how you are. Ooh, shrimpy. Shrimpy, shrimp. Somebody said something. I just poured out a glass of muscatel. Poured it out, like down the drain? You know, I can't say I've actually had muscatel, I just know it as like, it's always been the punchline of a joke. So, that and Ripple. You probably don't know what Ripple is. It's CK Clem, thank you for the like there, thank you very much. Here Derek, I had to download the app for you, lol. Okay, let's see if this is still too hot. God. That is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. I don't know if I should... Now put it in a bowl. Okay. So, I'm going to move you. Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't fall. Okay. So, I'm going to try to scoop this into here.
Smells coconutty.
It is so damn good, it's crazy. This is the ugali.
Ugali?
Ugali. I'm gonna try to make a shape. Although watch it not come out. And of course it doesn't come out. Well, that's a feeble attempt at a shape anyway. I tried. Now you could have this with just plain rice if you wanted, or cassava, I would imagine, or I would even think of a green plantain or green banana, as you will see in tomorrow's dish. So here we go with our shrimpy drimpy, our saucy wussy. We want to make sure to get a good amount of sauce because that's what the ugali is for, to soak up this flavorful sauce. And I'm hungry. I'm gonna leave these for like if I want seconds. Hello, Lugo. Okay, let me clean off this plate. Forks out of here. Here, ta-da! Steamy hot, steamy. And I got some dripping on my ugali. Oopsie. Oops. You will not be the one to be photographed, my dear. You're not for the judges' table.
Judges table.
Judges' table. Make sure those are ready for the judges. We need to make sure Padma's happy. Okay, there we go. So there we have our Kamba wanazi, or shrimp in coconut sauce, and our ugali, which is our our stiff porridge. And here's the one that got a little splattered. So that, my friends, is an early end, or an almost on-time end, actually, for night 1 of Tanzania. Because of the Super Bowl on Sunday, we're not cooking on Sunday. Instead, we're cooking tomorrow. So look for us tomorrow, night 2 of Tanzania. We're doing another Tanzanian mainland dish. We're doing a beef and green banana stew. That should be good. And then on Tuesday, come back for night 3. We're cooking the food of Zanzibar, which is part of Tanzania, though an autonomous portion, slightly different, more Arab flavors. And for that, we're doing octopus. So check that out. So again, go to the blog at cliffyland.com. Follow on Facebook at Cliffyland, the Global Cooking Challenge. On Twitter at Cliffyland. On Instagram, Pinterest. Also, we are there. And on YouTube. You can please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would make me really happy. Again, blogs go up every Wednesday with pictures, links to the original recipes, these videos, information about the countries, and all that good stuff. So thank you so much. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. Catch you next time. Have a happy Friday. Or if you're on the other side of the line, happy Saturday already. See you later. Till then, bye.